Hi there, this is David, and welcome to my honest, full review and final say on Forspoken. And before I would begin, I would like to thank Square Enix for a free copy of the game for review. About a month ago or so, I got my hands on the demo, where I pretty much said, yeah, it's a fun game, but there were just some strange quirks dragging it down. Thankfully though, Square Enix did take fan feedback into account to change the game for the better. But is it enough to elevate the experience to something special? Something memorable? A classic that we'll look back on in 10 years with a smile? Or is this just going to be like another flash in the pan, play it for a few days and then forget about it type of game? Well, come with me as I let you know my full, unfiltered, honest thoughts on this newest open world offering from Square. Similar to the demo, there are a ton of settings that you can fiddle around with here, customizing the experience to exactly how you like it. You don't just pick easy, medium, or hard, you really get on down to the nitty-gritty, and you can change the minutia, really ensuring that the game plays exactly how you would like it to. I personally was really happy to see an increased font size, as well as a text background to help it pop out more. This was a godsend for my old eyes, as well as the ability to change the controls around, which definitely helps with some of the arthritis in my hands. The game opens as our heroine Frey is put on trial for attempted grand larceny. She pleads not guilty, even though she is guilty, but the judge has mercy on her and decides not to enforce the three strikes law, and instead sentences her to community service. This seems to be a wake-up call for our troubled hero as she decides to use her ill-gotten gains to escape town and begin a new life, clean and unencumbered by the record that haunts her. Unfortunately though, her best laid plans are for naught, as she quickly runs into the gang that was tormenting her. They beat her up, but she narrowly escapes, only for them to hunt her down like a dog and burn her apartment, as well as her stash of cash, to the ground. Merry Christmas and happy birthday to poor Frey. In a heartbreaking moment, she surrenders her cat to the only person who showed her kindness in her life, the judge. She then ascends to the top of the Holland Tunnel, where she was abandoned as a baby, to contemplate suicide. It's in this moment that her life changes, as she spies a magical cuff and follows it, which definitely changes her life. This is a lot, and all of this happens within the first half an hour, and really, it's probably at this point where the game should open up and allow you to go your own way and explore. But unfortunately, the slow progression and drip feed of story continues for the better part of the next 2 hours. As you face off against a dragon, are dropped into the last bastion of humanity where you're immediately thrown into jail, only to then be tasked with finding your way back home. After the 2 hours are up, it's only then that you're really able to spread your wings and fly through the gorgeous open-ended and vibrant landscapes of Forspoken. I will say this though, if you can get through those first 2 hours, I do think that you're going to actually have a really good time with this game. There is a reason why the demo didn't start at the beginning, and it instead just puts you into the world. And if you are basing your current opinions on this game just on what you played in the demo, don't. Because while the demo was the final product, well, still having its fair share of quirks and downsides, is at the end of the day, quite good. You all know me. I'm not really one to get out of my comfort zone. I play my turn-based, strategy, and action RPGs, and that's really about it. I barely get into any Western RPGs. Even Mario and Zelda is something of a divergence, and I never played any other AAA games. I didn't play Uncharted, or Elden Ring, or The Last of Us, or Assassin's Creed, none of that. So Forspoken might very well be my first experience with a AAA game. And maybe that's swaying my opinion, but here it is. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this. A lot of ink has been spilled on the cringy dialogue, but I actually found it to be a little bit realistic and fitting, given the circumstances. And the banter between Frey and the Cuff genuinely did make me laugh out loud. I actually enjoyed it whenever I'd be running around and they would just be talking to each other. All that being said though, I do think that the cursing is just a bit much. It's like every other word is an F-bomb. We get it. You're edgy and you're pissed, but you can stop now. So, After leaving New York, Frey winds up in Athia, a land ruled over by the Tantus, 4 powerful sorceresses ruling the land. While previously benevolent, they are now most definitely malevolent. And, to make matters worse, the break has corrupted the land and it destroys everything that it touches. So of course, it falls to Frey to put the Tantus in their place, find the cause of the break, restore Athia to its former glory, and then find her way back home to New York. You do all this in a series of chapters, some longer than others, but each lasting roughly 1 hour, give or take a couple of minutes here and there depending on how many side quests and optional dungeons you delve into. There are only 12 chapters, so you can do the math insofar as how long the experience will last. The city of Sepal acts as your home base, where you can talk to townsfolk, take on side quests, dive deep into the lore of the world, or just kind of piddle around at your leisure. As you go out into the world to explore, you'll find tons of collectibles which you automatically gather without having to stop. Founts of Blessing to learn magic, monuments which grant you stat gains, locked labyrinths to find powerful equipment, abandoned towns which hold necklaces, cloaks, or nail polish, and many other things. There's mana wells that you can gather so you can learn new spells. There's really just a ton of things to see and do. This is not some empty open world. As the world can be expansive and quite overwhelming, the map is there to guide you to the main points of interest. And when you enter an area, it will tell you what type of treasure awaits you. Pilgrims' rests are scattered about the map, which act as fast travel points, rest stops, and crafting areas. You can also set waypoints and utilize the cuff compass to indicate where all the nearby enemies and treasure chests are, as well as give you a line that you can follow to get to your next location, similar to Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Combat is fast-paced, and it has been revamped and retooled to be a lot more fun than it was in the demo. You quickly switch between support and attack magic to pulverize your enemies, and no longer do you have to press that R2 button to attack. You're able to customize your inputs any which way that you like. Personally, I made the attack button the X button. It just works better for me. You're also ranked on how well you do in the battles. Whether you get first strikes or hit weaknesses or use support magic, you will all be graded on that. The higher your grade, the better your drops and your experience will be. Not only that, but your spells will upgrade depending on how well you do in combat through the use of the spellcraft challenges. The more challenges that you complete, the more powerful your spells will become. Besides the slow start and the cursing, the main drawback of the game is probably just insofar as how fast you move. You know those Sonic the Hedgehog games where he zips around the screen and he goes so fast that it's hard to control him or stop him? Well, the same thing happens here with Frey. Sometimes you just want to go into the doorway, but she's too busy hop, skipping, jumping, and planking all over the walls, rather than just, stopping and sitting still and walking into the frickin' doorway. Or many times you're going to be zooming around the map and you'll see mana wells or something that you want to collect. And you really kind of have to be right on top of them to gather them. But she's just soaring through at the speed of light, so you have to stop. And you have to be really particular with your movements in order to get everything. I guess I just kind of wish that rather than slowing her down, that the radius for collection of these items was just a tad bit larger. I've got to say, I really thought that I would come out of this game absolutely hating it. And I am aware that there was a massive hate train out there for it, but I kind of think it's unwarranted, and do not count me among those haters. I have never been one to follow the crowd. I've always been one to formulate my own opinions and stick by them. And while I might hate on some games, like Chrono Cross and Live Alive, because, let's face it, they deserve the hate, Forspoken does not deserve the hate. This is a fantastic outing for Luminous Productions, and I personally applaud them. Well, that's it for my honest review of Forspoken. What did you think about the game? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video and what I do on the channel, please consider following me on Twitter, supporting me on Patreon for exclusive videos and early access to my content, heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, or coming on over to my Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them all can be found in the video description. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.